Today we are going to do a walkthrough of the new 100x leverage exchange called delta.exchange. I am Crypto Quantamental and I'm joined by co-founder of delta.exchange, Jitender Tokas. Besides a walkthrough of the exchange, I'm going to be asking Jitender a bunch of questions. He does not know the questions I'm going to be asking, so this is truly a due diligence exercise on Delta. And to be clear, I'm not getting compensated for making this video. My only relationship with Delta is through referrals, and that's the exact same relationship all of you guys can have. But if you want to try Delta, please use my referral link or the web address found in the description of this video. Let's get right to it. Thanks for joining, Jitender. Maybe just start by giving us a history of Delta, your background, and how this exchange came to be.
Hi, thank you so much for doing this interview with me. We started Delta at the beginning of 2018. We are three co-founders. Let me just quickly tell you about my background. I have worked in financial services for close to 9 years. I started my career with GIC in Singapore. GIC is the sovereign wealth fund of Singapore government. And then I moved back to India and worked as an equity analyst with Citi. I used to cover telecom and internet stocks. My other two co-founders, one of them has a similar background as myself. He was a derivatives trader with UBS in Hong Kong. And the technical co-founder, he is a serial entrepreneur and has previously started two companies in which he raised money from the likes of SoftBank and Sequoia, and exited one of them. So at Delta, our vision is to create the most liquid global derivatives exchange. And I'll be happy to walk you through the platform and answer any questions that you might have.
Okay, great. Thanks for that background. So at this point, how big is the company? I was browsing your site and it looks like you're hiring quite a few technical positions as well. How many employees do you currently have, and kind of where do you see that going in the future?
So we are a very lean team. Currently, we are a team of about 10 people. Out of these, just two of us are on the business side, and rest all are developers. And we plan to hire maybe up to 5 more developers, but that's about it. And we are going to keep the team quite lean, at least for foreseeable future.
Okay, thanks again. And looking on your webpage, I see a few things. So I see the first deposit bonus, and I also read somewhere about like a fee discount for the first number of months. Maybe talk about some of the promos that you have going on to attract some clients to your exchange.
Sure. So the first deposit bonus, which you can see on my screen here, and in this, what we are doing is we are matching the first deposit of any user up to 0.01 BTC. So this is open to all users, and I would invite all of you to come and take advantage of this offer. Additionally, we have a very attractive referral program, which you can, if you can go to the menu and click on the referral program. So the referral program, I believe, is at this moment the most attractive in the industry. If you bring users to us, we share 25% in commissions for the first 1 year, and then after that, 10% commission share for lifetime, and the referred user gets 15% discount in trading fee for the first 6 months. So it's really a win-win situation for both the referee and the referred user.
Okay, so if I heard you correctly, that means if somebody uses my referral link in the description, they'll get 15% off their fees, which is a fantastic deal. So speaking of fees, maybe show us your fee schedule, how much it costs to trade, things like that.
Sure. So this is the fees page. The fees varies from contracts to contracts. So our BTC USD contract is our most popular contract. On that, we give 100x leverage, and the taker fee is 0.075%, and the maker fee is negative 0.025%. So essentially, if you are adding to liquidity on an exchange, you get paid to trade with us. On altcoin futures, our fees are 0.25% for taker and negative 0.05% for maker.
Wow, that's pretty darn good. I mean, usually don't see negative rebate fees, especially on the on most exchanges here. So being able to get a rebate on maker fees plus a potential 15% fee discount, plus a deposit bonus, you guys are certainly trying to make your presence felt. So so far it seems pretty darn attractive. Maybe show us how to register and get started.
Sure. So the registration form is fairly simple. We do not ask for a whole lot of information from you when you are starting. So all you need is your name, email address, and then you have to, once you have provided this information, you just need to confirm your email. So I would say, signing up takes you less than a minute. And once you have signed up, signing in is fairly simple. I have already signed into my account, so I can show you how the exchange looks like.
Okay, great. Before we jump into the exchange, is there any higher level verification or any know your customer type stuff that you have to do to get going?
No. All you need to start trading is a verified email address. What we have done is taken a call that for a large fraction of retail traders who are trading with very small amounts, the issues around anti-money laundering, etc., are really insignificant. So what we are doing is we are asking for KYC only when a trader tries to make a large withdrawal, and not otherwise. So for most traders, only requirement is just a verified email address.
Okay, great. So what coins do you currently have available, and what's your plans to add additional coins?
So right now we have futures contracts on 4 cryptocurrencies and crypto assets. So we have Bitcoin USD future, and we have Ether BTC, XRP BTC, and XLM BTC. So among these 4, the Bitcoin USD future is our most liquid. And as you can see currently, in the last 24 hours, the volume was $128,000 US. Our future plan is, in the immediate pipeline, we have 2 things. One, we are going to launch an Ether USD inverse future, which will be quoted in USD and settled in Ether. And the second future that we are going to launch is a perpetual contract of BTC USD. As of now, all the futures that are trading on a platform are traditional futures, so they have a set expiry date. And if you see this information icon at the top, here you can see a brief description of the contract. And I'm just taking a different screen. I can also show you the full contract specifications. I'm sorry, not here. So this is the screen where you have the full contract specifications and the key elements you can see here.
Okay, great. Yeah, having contract specifications well outlined and documentation is certainly good for clients. And do you have paper trading or mock trading available if somebody just wants to dive in a little bit and just kind of get their feet wet?
Absolutely. So you can go to a mock trading platform from here. Uh, so let me just quickly show it to you. So it's absolutely same as our regular exchange. The only difference on this platform is that you trade with testnet bitcoins instead of real bitcoins. And what we do is when you sign up, we give you some free bitcoins so that you can start trading immediately. You can test our APIs on this platform. You can do trading which is very very close to the real trading, except for the fake Bitcoin part.
Okay, great. That's awesome for somebody that just wants to get to know margin and leverage trading. Speaking of margin, maybe talk about how you define it. Some of your peers have what they call isolated margin and cross margin. Do you have something similar? What's your definition?
Yes, so we have isolated margin. What that means is that you specify how much margin are you willing to put into a position, and that margin is dedicated for that position. Let's say if market moves against your position and your margin falls short, so when we do not take more margin for that position from your wallet, so if the margin assigned to a particular position gets eroded to a certain point, we just liquidate your position. So what this means is that you cannot lose more than the assigned amount for that particular position.
Okay, great. That makes a lot of sense. So, what about analytics, charting? I see trading view up here on your chart on the left-hand side. Uh, just kind of walk us through the charting analytical capabilities of Delta.
Sure. So we have integrated TradingView charting library, and it has pretty much all the functions that TradingView offers. You can do analysis on various technical indicators. You can analyze charts across different time frames, and you can do comparisons between different price series. So all the features that you are available on TradingView charting library are available on Delta as well.
Okay, Jitender, we actually had a question from the crowd asking about when you might have a TradingView feed into actual TradingView.com. What's your plan on that? And also, getting the exchange on things like CoinMarketCap or CoinGecko. Where do you stand on that?
Sure. So we have had discussions with both CoinMarketCap and TradingView. On TradingView, I think the work has already started. We just need to to make some small changes in our system, and then we can start providing the feed to them. On CoinMarketCap, things are slightly tricky. So if you see the only derivatives exchange which has data on CoinMarketCap is BitMEX, and even then they are only showing data for their perpetual contract, because then it's sort of it can be compared with spot trading. So once we launch our perpetual contract, we should be able to get on CoinMarketCap as well, and I guess that should happen sometime in January.
Okay, and now let's jump right into trading. Here I see you have limit orders available, market orders available, stop market. Do you have any other order types available? Maybe plans for the future, like contingent orders, like immediate or cancel, or one cancels the other. What's your plans on having a very robust order suite?
Absolutely. So right now we have broadly three types of orders: market, limit, and stop orders. Our plan is to give a whole host of orders to our traders, and we have been receiving feedback from both retail traders as well as institutional traders for various kind of advanced orders that are for which there is a strong need. For instance, only today I was speaking to a market maker, and they are interested in having spread orders. So you could probably do spread trading between, let's say, December contract and March contract. So we do have a strong pipeline of advance orders, which we are going to be releasing over the next couple of months. As of now, we have the most commonly used three types of orders: limit, market, and stop.
Okay, great. Yeah, it's obviously you guys are pretty new, so your pipeline is what's important, what you're rolling out in the future. And I think one big thing, just my own speaking, my own trading, my own investing, that I don't like about a lot of crypto exchanges, the lack of having one cancels the other type orders where I'm able to put a stop loss and a take profit in at the same time for the same coins. A lot of exchanges, you just kind of have to pick one or the other and hope for the best. So it's good to hear you guys do have a pipeline of plans to continue to make yourself as user friendly as possible. If you don't mind, maybe just give us an example of a trade. Obviously, don't execute it if you don't want to, but just maybe just show us just how easy it is to have a levered position, maybe some limit order, and kind of set up the margin.
Sure, yeah. I can do a very small trade. So for a BTC USD contract, one contract is the size is $1. So let's try to do short one single contract. So let's do a limit order, and because I want to execute it immediately, let me choose the best bid. Quantity is 1. Bid price I can select directly from the order book. So let me select this, and then for leverage, you can select from this bar. So this has some of the key levels. I can go up to 100x, or what I can do is I can just type here. Let's say I want to just maybe choose a number which is, let's say, 28, and so this shows me my order size. This shows me my margin requirement. Because my order is so small, this margin requirement is not appearing properly. So if I make it bigger, you can actually see how much margin you would require to place this order. And once you have filled these fields, just hit the button, and I've submitted a sell order. I think the price moved a bit, so it did not. So it was filled already. So I've acquired a position. Now, I want to point out one thing here, that we do not mark your position on the last traded price. Instead, we mark your position on the mark price, which is derived using spot and the order book. So how this helps is that no one can manipulate the last traded price to liquidate certain positions. It is very hard to manipulate the mark price, and that's why it's a lot more stable and secure. So the PNL that you see here is derived from the mark price, not the last traded price.
Okay, great. Yeah, that looks pretty easy, and you have a relatively tight spread there, so it's pretty friendly for traders. But that leads me into my next question. Obviously being a relatively new exchange, your volume is probably a little bit lower than what you'd like, and of course you want to increase it. But given Bitcoin's basically hitting fresh lows of the year right now, you kind of see it on the screen. What's your plan to attract liquidity in this type of market environment?
Sure. I do acknowledge that we are a young exchange, and if you compare us on volumes, we will not match up against the more established players. However, I want to point out two things. One, our spreads are just as tight as the best in the industry. So if you see the order book for a Bitcoin contract, the spread is just $0.50, and which is the tick size for this contract. So it could not be tighter than this. And let's look at the depth. So depth on each side right now is about $35,000. So for a lot of retail traders, the depth is, but we have found is sufficient. But we do plan to increase both depth as well as the liquidity on the exchange. So our strategy is actually twofold. One, we are very, very focused on promoting trading through APIs on a platform. We have very strong APIs, both REST and socket. We already have a few algorithmic traders trading on our exchange, and we are in conversations with several others. Secondly, we are talking with a couple of large market making firms who are very keen to make markets on an exchange. And the third leg is the the retail traders who would then be consumers of this liquidity. We are actively recruiting users, and for this we are reaching out to users across various channels, and we have seen a significant pickup in the traffic to our exchange, and I feel that over the next 1-2 months we would see massive pickup in volumes on Delta. And that said, the macro conditions will do have an impact on how things play out.
Okay, thanks for that information. I had another question from the crowd, and this is something I hear, often just from the people I talk to, in crypto. It's really a worry. I don't know, how it really works in practice, but maybe talk about, order priority. So, for example, if I put an order in, a limit order buy for 31.40, and you put an order in for 31.40, and a big whale puts an order in for 31.40. How do you prioritize it? Is it first in, first out? Do you have special relationships with people that get first execution? What's the priority in terms of order filling?
See, for us, it is very important to be fair, honest, and treat our customers with total transparency and fairness. We do not want to give preference to any large or small customer. And this is something which is part of our core values. If you look at a website, transparency, fairness, and integrity, these are the three values that we have espoused, and we plan to stick by them. I know crypto industry, a lot of exchanges, even the big ones, have reputations for market manipulation, for short-changing their traders, for front-running their traders. For us, this is an opportunity to stand out from the pack and give people a fair and transparent trading venue. I have spoken with some market makers who have asked us to provide them priority access, and I have refused to do that. So what we are open to doing is we are open to providing co-location to traders. We are open to providing higher API rate limits to large traders, but we are not open to providing priority in terms of how orders are executed in the order book. In the order book, all orders are equal, and we strictly follow price time priority. So if two orders have the same price, and then the order which came first will get executed first.
That sounds great, because I agree. First in, first out should be certainly the way to go when it comes into the order book. So I have a handful more questions, and feel free to demo anything you'd like, but I had a question in terms of technology. So some of your peers have reputations for having system overloads at the worst possible time, or perhaps the order book isn't real time and it's actually lagging a couple minutes. Talk about your technology and why it's going to be, or already is, top of the line.
See, the order submission errors in some of our competing exchanges is again an opportunity for us to shine and show that we can do better. We have been aware of this problem at other exchanges from the very beginning, and we have made sure that we build enough capacity to handle the traffic. So what we have done is that our software is written in a manner where we can handle large spikes in traffic. Secondly, it has been written with scale in mind. So currently, when our volumes are low, we have sufficient capacity. And as far as the last few months since we have been live are concerned, we have not seen a single incident where our market was down or traders were not able to place their trades. Like I mentioned earlier at the beginning of this interview, my technical co-founder is an absolutely brilliant guy, and he has done a fantastic job in building this product. Our exchange has been written entirely in-house and in a very short period of time. I have seen exchanges, derivative exchanges, who did an ICO in 2017, raised like tens of millions of dollars and are yet to even launch. And for us, we raised a very small angel round, and with a very lean team, we have launched a product, and we have been live in market for I guess 4 months now. So I can assure you that our technology is world class. Our exchange has been battle tested. It is stable. We have spare capacity. You are not going to see the kind of issues that are very, very prevalent on other derivative exchanges.
Okay, and a very similar question. What's your security on this exchange? That's obviously a hot topic when it comes to crypto and Bitcoin exchanges. What should give consumers confidence that you are not going to get hacked? Do you have any phishing protection or anything like that might help consumers? And how do you kind of protect and store any coins that you might have?
Sure. So yes, like any other centralized exchange, we are a honeypot for hackers, and we are very cognizant of this thing. So what we have done is there are two things. One, we are using a multi-sig wallet, and this is the same multi-sig wallet service provider which is being used by the top exchanges across the world. Second is that what we do is we open our wallets for withdrawals only once every 24 hours. And all withdrawals are done after manual review. And only the founders have the ability to process withdrawals. So beyond those, that short window where we open our wallets of withdrawal, no withdrawals are possible. So this increases friction for users, but we feel that this additional friction is worth it, considering how much extra safety it provides to crypto in our custody. Now, regarding the safety or security of our infrastructure, all our servers and are in a VPN or VPN-like environment with like only a handful of points which are open to the internet. So pretty much it is very, very difficult for a hacker or a person who's unauthorized to access our servers. We have gotten a security audit done by a leading firm about the way we have designed and managed our infrastructure. And so I'm fairly secure and comfortable in saying that our security is top notch, and I feel that we have checked all the boxes to make sure that no untoward incident happens on Delta.
Okay, and another common concern when it comes to leverage exchanges would be the potential for the exchange to experience loss on a trade. So you have one competitor have an insurance fund, and during the summer there's a big incident. I think with the OK exchange where they had to socialize losses. What's your plan and what's your policy around whether it's an insurance fund or socializing losses? What's your take, and what do you think's fair?
Yes, I feel that an insurance fund is absolutely necessary for derivative exchanges, and we also have started an insurance fund. Right now, it's in building phase where we are, we want to grow it to a certain level before we start to dip into it. So as of now, what we do is we use auto deleveraging to handle situations where we are unable to liquidate a position before its bankruptcy price is breached. So what happens is, let's say for a certain position, which is in liquidation and we are unable to close the position in market, then we match that position against traders on the other side who are in profit, and this matching happens at the bankruptcy price of the position in liquidation. So in this way, we are what the advantage is that we are socializing losses, but that socialization does not impact all the traders. It impacts only a handful of traders, and even those traders who are impacted, they would close their positions in profit, but just that the amount of profit would be probably lower than what it could have been. So we feel that this approach is better than what is being used by exchanges like OKX, where funds are released only on a weekly basis, and even realized profits can be clawed back. So in our case, the number of traders who can potentially get impacted by auto deleveraging is very few. That said, our long-term goal is to have a large enough insurance fund to cover such incidents, and our plan is to have such a fund in place by the middle of next year.
Okay, great. Yeah, I would agree with that. Like, insurance fund is definitely needed. Of course, it's hard being a startup building up that fund, but given everything you've showed me today, I'm sure you'll get that on track before you know it. Next question for you is, what's your stance currently on global regulation? What's your ability to comply globally, just from a regulatory stance? Do you have any restrictions? Where do you stand on that front?
Sure. So the Delta is being operated out of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. St. Vincent does not regulate cryptocurrency trading or cryptocurrency derivatives trading. So we are compliant with all the laws there. We do have restrictions on nationals of certain countries, such as the US. Now, I have always worked in financial services, in markets, and I believe that regulations are for the good. And but as a startup, it is hard for us to come up with the kind of capital requirement that is typically associated with starting an exchange. So what we plan to do is continue to operate without any getting regulated for some time to come before and once we have enough size and enough capital, we do plan to get regulated. And I believe that is the right way to do things.
Okay, great. And I had a question based on, it seems like a pretty neat feature you had on your front page about kind of building your own strategy. What exactly does that mean? Some sort of back testing functionality, or you're talking like API? What exactly is that?
Yeah, so this is still in the works, and what we are doing is creating tools for you to, back test any ideas that you might have and see how they do. And let's say, if you feel that, let's say trend following is a great strategy, and let's say you have an idea about moving average crossover strategy, and so on a platform you would be able to come and very quickly test this strategy out. And if you find that this strategy actually makes money, you would be able to just deploy this strategy on Delta. I think it's going to be a really cool thing, and I don't see any other exchange having it. We should be coming out with this in the 1Q of 2019.
And in order to do that, do you need to be an expert coder, or do you keep it pretty user friendly in being able to test crossover strategies or whatever it might be?
So our aim is to make it so simple that you just write the idea that you have and we take it from there. So definitely you would not need to know any sort of coding. If you have an idea, you would be able to test it. It's going to be that simple.
Okay, great. I think, Jitender, you definitely answered all my questions. By and large, I just really wanted to know what makes you better than your peers. Why should people switch over to you guys? And a lot of your answers address that, by and large. But is there anything else that you'd like to show us or talk to us about that makes the Delta Exchange, stand out?
So we have some really cool features. Let me show you this one that convert from BTC to USD. So all our contracts are currently margined in Bitcoins. However, let's say for some reason you do not see an opportunity in the market, or maybe you're going on a vacation and you are not happy with the BTC risk that you have because of the money you have on your Delta wallet. So what you can do is you can convert your BTC to USDT, and then once you have moved to a stable coin, you just do not have the risk of BTC anymore. On other exchanges, you can achieve the same thing by shorting BTC USD future at 1x leverage, but it's just a lot more hassle than converting to stable coin. So this is a feature which I believe is unique to us. Secondly, I think the reason people should trade with us is that we want to, or we are gonna solve all the problems that are currently part and parcel of our competing exchanges. It is a commitment to our traders that we would always be a fair and transparent trading venue, which will treat all its customers equally. And on our exchange, you are not going to have the problem of order submission errors, or the problem of reliability of liquidity, or APIs not being stable. And I understand that we are a young exchange and we do have to walk the talk and prove ourselves, but I would really urge all of you to try us out. use a mock trading platform to get a feel for the platform, to test their APIs, and if once you feel comfortable, maybe start small on an exchange and see if we are able to really fulfill the tall promises that we are making. And I want to also add here that we have an exciting pipeline of products and features that you would get to see over the coming few months. We do plan to launch perpetual contracts. We do plan to launch options, and we also have plans to launch contracts which are currently not available anywhere else. For instance, futures on various types of indices, such as an altcoin index or a broader crypto market index, which would allow you to take a leverage position on a bunch of coins at the same time.
That's great to hear. I'm a big believer that we certainly need a better indexing or better market proxy out there. Personally, that's how I try to invest when I execute my own portfolio, my own crypto model, as I'm trying to beat the broad market as a whole. So being able to invest in the market, I think that would allow people just a very valuable option, versus trying to have to manage it themselves. So I definitely appreciate that. Also, if somebody wants to get in touch with you, or they have questions on Delta Exchange or just customer service, how do they do that?
Sure. I'm available on all channels. My email address is jitender.tokas@delta.exchange. You can write to the customer support at support@delta.exchange. All our social media channels are accessible from our website. Write to us anywhere, join us a Telegram community. We are accessible 24/7, and because we are a young exchange, we try harder. You have access to all the 3 co-founders. We are happy to have a chat with you, explain what we are doing. If you are an algo trader, or if you are a market maker and you need help in integrating our APIs, we are happy to help with that. We are happy to even, have our developers, provide you assistance in doing that integration. So, absolutely accessible 24/7. Hit us up on any channel.
Okay, like I mentioned before, that pretty much wraps up my questions. If anyone has any additional questions, feel free to reach out to me on Twitter @CryptoQF, and I'll be sure to pass along questions, or they can reach out to you or the team directly. Again, thank you, Jitender, for joining us today. If you guys like what you've seen, give Delta a spin, maybe do some mock trading, get used to leverage trading, whatever you'd like. Definitely try to sign up. The website address is in my registration, in my comment section. Sorry about that. So please go ahead and click that and get signed up. And certainly, appreciate your time today. And everyone be safe out there. It's definitely a tough day for Bitcoin again, but hopefully 2019 is better for all of us. Thanks again, and good luck.